Hello YouTube, welcome to another episode of a big project we're taking on today. So we're building a tiny house on this the trailer on the wheel basically. This house is inspired by a plan that a lady and her husband Anna White has released. They're out in Alaska, so their design is basically geared toward Alaskan style of a house building. So we're not making a lot of changes to that design, but that is the base of what we're going to be building here. And I live in in Texas, so we're going to have to make a lot of changes. So we'll go through that as we go through the process. But today I wanted to introduce the project and kind of talk about the philosophy on the design. So the primary goal for a lot of my projects is to build something that's functional and relatively inexpensive. Okay, so towards that goal, we're going to be using a lot of reclaimed material, as well as we're going to be making changes on the functionality and whatever can help us save cost. But being a tiny house on the road, on the wheel, we're also going to be watching the weight very carefully. So we're going to be making some of the changes that will kind of help us keep the weight down. Now, mind that we're not planning to take this tiny house on the road all around the country, so we're not trying to shoot for like the lightest house, but we don't want to be super heavy either. Okay, so we're going to kind of fall somewhere in the middle. And I have a spreadsheet that estimates the cost and the weight for all the material that's going to be used in this project. So we're going to be releasing a kind of an episode every week or two, depending on how much progress we make building this, and kind of talk about what we've done on the previous weekends up until that next episode. So we're going to be kind of going by that schedule on the release of these episodes. So having said that, let's talk about the frame and the base of this tiny house. So the base of this tiny house, this trailer you see right here, this is actually a trailer we reclaimed from a rundown RV. So I bought an RV off of Craigslist. It was really cheap. It was run down completely. I mean, it was really bad shape. It was even hard to tow it on the road. But nevertheless, the frame was good. So after we ripped out the whole shell of the RV, we got the bare metal, we sanded it, we sanded the frame, primed the frame, and put a fresh new coat of paint. Now I want to show you some things that's going to be important. So, like I said, our designs is inspired by Anna White's plan. Now, she had a trailer that was about 8.5 feet wide, as well as 24 feet long. Now, ours is about 23.5 long and exactly 8 feet wide from this edge right here to that edge over there. So we're going to be making adjustments for the dimensions, as well as for Anna White's plan. She had rafters running this way. Okay, now because of this reclaimed RV frame has metal rafter going that way, the next course of rafter we can run is going to be only on this direction, the lengthwise. So again, we're going to make a lot of changes based on what we have and what we get to work with. Having said that, few things I wanted to point out on the material here. Okay, so we have, as you can see, I already finished few rafters. So each of this rafter, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we put in here, are bolted down with the leg board from under this frame, like through this hole, for example. And what we have used in underneath the rafter is this again reclaimed vinyl. This is basically a billboard sign material. You can again get it on Craigslist for relatively cheap, and that's what we're using as a kind of a water barrier. Again, we're not going to be driving this tiny house on the road. If you are going to be driving a lot, then you want to use like a aluminum flashing or something to line up the bottom. For the inside rafter, we made, again, this is not 2x4. This is actually a 2x6 ripped in a half width. So it's about 2 3/8 tall versus 3.5, and that's to reduce the deck width, right? I mean, I don't want to have a house that's too tall, so we try to save the unused vertical space by reducing the rafter width. The perimeter rafter we're going to be using are going to be treated wood. Those middle rafters are untreated, but since we're going to be splashing water and whatever, I wanted to use the perimeter from a treated wood. So the way we made these perimeter rafters are by we started with a 4x4 post, and we ripped it in the half, and then we ripped again to match exactly 2 3/8 or 2 3/4 height, and a little over 1.5 inch width. And the reason is I want the perimeter rafter to be beefier, because that's where the weight of the wall is going to be, and I want that to be a little bit thicker. I mean, you can double them up, but again, like I said, there are competing factor. If we double them up, then we increase the weight. So we kind of took a middle route, and we use a half of a 4x4, which is a little over 1.5. So that's that. Few other things. The plumbing. So we're gonna do plumbing later on. The bathroom is gonna be right around here in the back side, and the loft side is gonna be in the front, just like Anna White's plan. And so we're gonna be doing plumbing later on. But as the first episode, what we're gonna be doing, we're gonna be bolting down or leg bolting down all of these rafters from underneath. And then for the outside rafters, we're gonna use a carriage bolt. And the reason we're going to use carriage bolt is we initially want to bolt this guy, and then we put the plywood deck on top of that. We're going to bolt plywood, and then once we put the frame for the wall, we're going to also bolt those frame down. So every time we're going to be taking the bolt off, drill it, and then put it back again. So that's why we're using the leg bolt for the outside anchoring, and the carriage bolt for outside anchoring, and the leg bolt for all the inside rafters. So that's all. As you can see, I already got it started. I just forgot to make a proper introduction of the frame, so I kind of took this time before we covered the whole frame. We decided to talk about the frame and the rafter direction and so on. So let's get started working.